Most people move through their days without ever pausing to ask a critical question. Is this the best use of my time? They get caught in the loop of routines, responsibilities, and reactions, assuming that busyness equals productivity. But the truth is, without regular review and reflection, it's easy to drift, working hard, but not necessarily working smart. Reflection is the bridge between action and improvement. It's how you learn from your time, not just live through it. Reviewing how you spend your time brings awareness. It turns the vague feeling of being busy into specific, measurable patterns. You begin to notice what hours you're most productive, which activities give you the best return, and where time is leaking through cracks of distraction or disorganization. Just like financial budgeting helps you see where your money is going, time auditing reveals how you're investing or wasting your days. And what you measure, you can manage. Reflection isn't about judgment. It's about insight. It's not meant to make you feel guilty for what you didn't do, but to help you adjust and grow. When you make time each week or month to look back, asking yourself what worked, what didn't, and why, you begin to see patterns that would otherwise stay hidden. Maybe you notice that meetings are draining your creative time, or that you're procrastinating certain tasks because they're unclear. These realizations give you power to redesign your schedule with intention. One of the most powerful outcomes of regular reflection is clarity. In a world full of competing priorities, distractions, and opportunities, it's easy to get overwhelmed. But stepping back allows you to reconnect with your goals and values. It's a moment to ask, am I doing what truly matters, and is this moving me closer to the life I want? These questions cut through the noise and bring your attention back to what's essential. Clarity simplifies decisions and strengthens your focus going forward. Reflection also fuels adaptability. Life is constantly changing. Your energy levels, responsibilities, and even your goals will evolve. By pausing to review regularly, you stay agile. You can adjust your routines, shift your priorities, and refine your habits as needed. Instead of clinging to outdated methods or forcing yourself to push through what's no longer working, you give yourself permission to evolve. That's how you stay effective in a dynamic world, not by doing more, but by doing better. Another benefit of time reflection is emotional awareness. How you spend your time affects how you feel, and how you feel affects how you show up in work, relationships, and personal growth. By reviewing not just what you did, but how it made you feel, you gain insight into what energizes you and what drains you. Maybe you notice that certain interactions leave you inspired while others leave you depleted. This emotional intelligence allows you to align your time with your well-being, not just your tasks. Making reflection a habit doesn't require hours. It can be as simple as taking 10 minutes each evening to jot down what went well, what could have gone better, and what to improve tomorrow. Weekly or monthly reviews can go deeper, looking at accomplishments, challenges, and shifts in direction. The key is consistency. The more often you reflect, the more feedback you gather, and over time, that feedback becomes a powerful guide, steering you towards smarter choices and a more fulfilling life. When you reflect consistently, you stop being reactive and start being strategic. You begin to move through life with intention because you're learning from your experience rather than repeating it blindly. Time becomes something you master, not something you change. You move from merely spending time to shaping it, crafting your days in alignment with your purpose, goals, and values. And that shift begins not with more action, but with more awareness. In the end, mastering your time is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. It's about rising above the noise, the distractions, and the chaos to claim your time as your own. Every minute you live is a piece of your life you can never get back. That makes time your most precious, non-renewable resource. When you learn to use it with purpose, clarity, and discipline, you're not just managing a calendar, you're shaping your destiny. Remember, the quality of your life is a direct reflection of how you choose to spend your time. Each decision, each routine, each boundary you set is a powerful statement of what you value. You have the ability right now to design your days with intention, to eliminate what no longer serves you, and to fill your life with actions that bring you closer to your goal. So don't wait for the right time. That time is now. Take control, be deliberate, reflect often, and always remember this. When you master your time, you don't just get more done, you become more of who you were meant to be. At first glance, discipline and freedom might seem like opposites. Discipline feels structured, rigid, even restrictive, while freedom feels open, spontaneous, and flexible. But in truth, discipline is the foundation of true freedom. When you build routines and habits based on discipline, you free yourself from chaos, indecision, and time-wasting distractions. Instead of reacting to the day as it comes, you take control of it. That control gives you freedom, not just over your schedule, but over your entire life. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early to work on your goals, saying no to distractions, and staying consistent with the habits that align with your vision. While that may seem difficult at first, it becomes easier with repetition. And once a habit becomes part of your routine, you no longer need to negotiate with yourself every day. You conserve mental energy because you've already decided what matters. That's how discipline sharpens your focus. Many people resist routine because they think it's boring or limiting. But the opposite is true. When your key priorities are locked into a routine, you create space for creativity, spontaneity, and deep work. You're no longer scrambling to figure out what to do next or chasing last-minute decisions. You've built a reliable structure that supports your goals, and within that structure, your energy is no longer scattered. It's concentrated. That concentration gives you more room to be present, productive, and fully engaged. Routine simplifies your day. Every decision you don't have to make is a decision you can use elsewhere. This is why many high performers wear the same clothes every day or eat the same meals. They reduce decision fatigue so they can channel their mental energy into more important things. When your days follow a clear rhythm, you move through them with more ease and less stress. You eliminate the friction of uncertainty and create an environment where excellence becomes your default mode. Discipline and routine also help you manage your energy, not just your time. You start to recognize your natural peaks and dips in focus and schedule your most important work during those high energy windows. You build in breaks before burnout creeps in. You go to sleep on time, eat with intention, and exercise consistently. Over time, your routine becomes a self-sustaining system that protects your well-being. It's not about forcing productivity, it's about optimizing how you live and work each day. Most importantly, routine keeps you grounded when life gets unpredictable. It gives you an anchor during stressful or uncertain times. You may not control everything that happens, but when you've built daily habits that support your progress, you can rely on them to keep moving forward. Even on tough days, your routine carries you. It keeps your goals alive when motivation fades. And that consistency, more than bursts of inspiration, is what builds a successful and meaningful life. When you're disciplined with your time, you also gain the freedom to say yes to the things that matter. You can finish your work early, spend more quality time with loved ones, or indulge in rest without guilt, because you know you've earned it. Freedom isn't doing whatever you want, whenever you want. Real freedom is being able to live life on your terms, and that only comes when you've created a life built on strong habits and disciplined choices. Ultimately, routine becomes a tool that serves you. You're not a slave to your schedule, you're the architect of it. And when you've designed your day with clarity and discipline, you unlock a new level of freedom. Freedom from overwhelm, from procrastination, from regret. You no longer feel pulled in every direction. You move through life with purpose, clarity, and peace, because your time, energy, and focus are aligned with your highest priorities. Time wasters are often invisible at first glance. They sneak into our lives disguised as harmless distractions, low-priority tasks, or quick breaks. But over time, these seemingly small interruptions compound and erode hours, days, even years of potential progress. When you begin to value your time as the most precious resource you have, you start seeing how costly these time wasters really are. Every minute lost to distraction is a minute you could have used to build something meaningful, grow, or simply live more fully. In today's world, the biggest thief of time is often the screen in your pocket. Endless scrolling, social media loops, notification pings. These are engineered to hijack your attention. The average person loses several hours a day to digital distractions, often without realizing it. What starts as a 5-minute scroll can turn into 40 minutes of passive consumption. If you're not intentional, your life can become a string of digital detours. Awareness is the first step to reclaiming your time. Track where it's going and take control. Eliminating time wasters doesn't mean cutting out all forms of relaxation or pleasure. It means being deliberate about how you unwind. There's a difference between intentional rest and mindless distraction. Reading a book to recharge is not the same as endlessly flipping between apps out of boredom. Spending quality time with loved ones is not the same as half watching TV while checking your phone. When you understand that every moment has value, you start choosing high-quality leisure over low-quality noise. Another common time waster is overcommitting. Saying yes to every request, attending meetings that add no value, doing favors that drain your energy. These are habits that steal your time under the guise of responsibility. When you spread yourself too thin, you leave little room for what truly matters. That's why learning to say no is a time management superpower. Successful people guard their calendars with the same intensity others guard their wallets. Because time once lost is gone forever. Multitasking is another silent saboteur of time. While it might feel productive, science shows it reduces efficiency and increases mental fatigue. Switching between tasks wastes cognitive energy and leads to shallow work. Deep focus, what's often called flow, is only possible when you commit fully to one task at a time. By eliminating the urge to multitask and embracing single tasking, you get more done in less time and at a higher quality. One focused hour beats 3 distracted ones. Time wasters can also come in the form of mental clutter, overthinking, worrying about the future, ruminating on the past. These inner distractions are just as dangerous as external ones. They drain your emotional energy, stall decision-making, and prevent you from taking action. Mindfulness, journaling, and structured planning help clear this clutter. When your mind is organized, your time follows suit. Clarity in your thoughts leads to clarity in your schedule. One of the most overlooked time wasters is lack of preparation. Rushing into tasks without planning creates inefficiency. You spend more time fixing mistakes, repeating steps, or figuring out what to do next. A few minutes of planning in the morning can save hours of confusion later. Successful people don't just dive into action, they prepare with intention. They know that structured preparation eliminates unnecessary detours and keeps their time aligned with their goal. Ultimately, when you start valuing your time, you begin to see it as a reflection of how much you value your life. You no longer tolerate the things that drain you or keep you stagnant. You become selective not because you're rigid, but because you're purposeful. You eliminate the non-essential to make room for what matters most. And in doing so, you start living with a sharper focus, deeper joy, and a stronger connection to what truly fulfills. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Let me ask you a question. What's the one thing we all get in equal measure every single day, regardless of our age, background, or bank account? That's right, time. Time is life. Every second, every minute that ticks away is not just the passing of a clock, it's a piece of your life, irretrievable and irreplaceable. When you master your time, you master your future, you master your potential, you master your life. Time is the only asset we all receive in equal measure, yet it's the most unequally valued and utilized. Unlike money, you can't earn more of it. Unlike possessions, you can't store it for later. Every human being, regardless of their status, background, or beliefs, is given 24 hours in a day. That makes time not just an asset, but the ultimate equalizer. What separates a productive, fulfilled life from a chaotic, unfulfilled one often boils down to how time is perceived and treated. Most people are quick to guard their money, yet they give away their time without hesitation. They say yes to things they don't care about, get lost in meaningless distractions, or procrastinate away golden opportunities. But time, once spent, is gone forever. You can recover from financial loss. You can rebuild relationships, but you can never reclaim lost time. That's what makes it infinitely more valuable than any material possession. In truth, your time is your life. Every second is a building block of who you are and who you are becoming. Think about it. Every goal you have, whether it's building a career, improving your health, or growing your relationships, requires time. You can have all the ambition in the world, but without time allocated intentionally toward those goals, progress is impossible. Time is the currency you spend in exchange for your dreams, and like any valuable currency, it should be spent wisely, intentionally, and with purpose. The more consciously you use your time, the more value you extract from your life. We often underestimate how precious time really is until we feel its limits, when deadlines approach, when emergencies strike, or when we look back and realize how much we've wasted. In those moments, we understand that time is not just passing, it's running out. That realization, though painful, is powerful. It can shake us out of complacency and push us to start using each moment with purpose. You don't have to wait for a crisis to start valuing your time. Awareness alone can be your turning point. Time isn't just about minutes and hours, it's also about energy and focus. You may spend an hour working, but if your energy is low or your mind is scattered, you don't get full value from that hour. That's why effective time use isn't just about watching the clock, it's about managing your mental clarity and physical well-being so your time works for you. When you're rested, focused, and intentional, a single hour can accomplish more than an entire unfocused day. Another reason time is your greatest asset is because it's the only one that defines your legacy. What you choose to do with your time is ultimately what you will be remembered for. It's the measure of your contribution, your growth, your impact on others. Great achievements are not made overnight. They are the result of consistent, intentional time spent over days, months, and years. In this way, time is not just what we use, it's what we become. Yet in today's world, it's incredibly easy to lose sight of time's value. Technology, while useful, is also a thief of time when left unchecked. Social media, binge-worthy content, endless notifications, they all chip away at your most precious resource. We've come to treat time as something to kill rather than something to honor and protect. If you want to regain control over your life, the first step is becoming ruthlessly protective of your time. That means learning to say no, setting boundaries, and creating space for what truly matters. Lastly, treating time as your most valuable asset requires a mindset shift. It means seeing every hour as an opportunity, an investment in your personal growth, your relationships, your health, and your dreams. It's not about becoming rigid or robotic, it's about becoming intentional. When you start respecting time, it begins to work for you, not against you. And in doing so, you step into a life of purpose, direction, and fulfillment, one moment at a time. There's a powerful difference between spending time and investing time. When you spend time, it's often used up without expectation of a return. But when you invest time, you're putting it into something meaningful with the intention of gaining something greater in the future. Whether that's knowledge, skill, income, health, or deeper relationships. Successful people understand this distinction deeply. They don't treat time as something to simply fill. They treat it as a resource to grow their lives. Every day we are presented with opportunities to either spend or invest our time. Watching a random show on TV might be spending time. Taking an online course to improve your skills, that's investing. Chatting aimlessly might be spending. Having a focused conversation with someone who inspires or supports your growth, that's investing. The act itself might look similar, but the intention and outcome behind it make all the difference. Successful people are consistently intentional about how they use their hours. Time investment is future-oriented. It's about sacrificing immediate gratification for long-term benefit. That might mean reading instead of scrolling, exercising instead of snoozing, building a business instead of binging content. These choices aren't always easy or comfortable, but high achievers recognize that growth and comfort rarely coexist. Every hour they spend building skills, nurturing relationships, or planning strategically pays dividends over time. This delayed gratification compounds and separates them from the average. There's also a financial mindset to this idea. Just like money invested grows through interest, time invested wisely compounds in value. Reading one book won't change your life. But reading consistently over a year can change how you think, make decisions, and lead. Exercising once won't make you healthy, but building the habit day by day transforms your body and energy levels. Successful people invest in routines that build on themselves, habits that shape a better version of their future selves. Importantly, time investments aren't always about work. Successful people also invest time in rest, relationships, and reflection. They understand that burnout doesn't lead to greatness, so they block time to recharge, spend quality time with loved ones, and think deeply about their goals and values. They don't see rest as wasted time. They see it as necessary maintenance to sustain high performance. Just like money, your time needs to be diversified. Not all action, not all rest, but a healthy balance of both. Another key to investing time is knowing what not to do. Successful people guard their time fiercely. They avoid distractions, minimize low-value activities, and automate or delegate tasks when possible. They understand that every yes is also a no to something else, so they make deliberate choices about what they say yes to. Their calendars are not packed with random events. They're filled with activities that align with their vision and goals. This focus allows them to maximize the return on every hour. Investing time also means being present and purposeful. It's not just about checking tasks off a list. It's about engaging fully in what you're doing so it yields better results. If you're working with full focus. If you're with family, you're there, not checking your phone. Presence increases the impact of your time investment. It deepens relationships. It improves output and heightens personal satisfaction. Successful people know that how you use your time is just as important as where you use it. Lastly, people who invest time are always thinking in terms of outcomes, not just activity. They don't just ask, what am I doing today? They ask, what result do I want from this hour? That mindset turns time into a tool, not a trap. They're not just busy, they're building. They don't chase time, they direct it. And through years of consistent intentional investment, they create lives that reflect purpose, growth, and success in every sense of the word. Clarity is the foundation of effective time management. Without it, you're like a ship sailing without a compass, constantly moving, but never really getting anywhere. When you're clear about what you want to achieve, every decision you make about how to spend your time becomes easier. You stop guessing and start acting with purpose. That sense of direction transforms scattered energy into focused momentum. Clarity gives your time meaning, and meaning gives your actions power. A lack of clarity leads to procrastination, indecision, and wasted hours. People often say they don't have enough time, but what they really lack is a clear sense of purpose. When your goals are vague or undefined, you end up reacting to whatever comes your way instead of moving forward with intention. You spend time on low-value tasks, busy work, or distractions, because you haven't clearly identified what truly matters. Clarity cuts through the noise and shows you what deserves your focus. Successful individuals prioritize their time because they've taken the time to define their goal. They don't wake up and wonder what to do. They already know, whether it's a personal mission, a business objective, or a health goal, they have a mental roadmap. That roadmap allows them to make quick, confident decisions about how to allocate their time. They ask themselves daily, does this align with my goals? If it doesn't make the cut. That's how clarity protects your time from being hijacked by the trivial. Clarity also helps you identify your highest value tasks, the few things that bring the most return on your time investment. These are often the activities that push you closer to your goals, even if they're more challenging or uncomfortable. When you lack clarity, it's easy to stay busy with easier tasks that feel productive but don't move the needle. But when your goals are front and center, you're naturally drawn to what matters most. You stop confusing movement with progress. Another benefit of clarity is that it enhances your motivation. When you know why you're doing something, it becomes easier to stay committed. Goals give your time a deeper emotional connection. You're not just waking up early or working late for no reason. You're doing it because you see a bigger picture. You have a why that drives your effort. That emotional connection fuels discipline and helps you push through challenges, distractions, and the temptation to give up. Clarity also improves your ability to plan ahead. When you know your goals, you can break them down into actionable steps and schedule them accordingly. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You create momentum by working steadily toward what you want. This forward-thinking approach allows you to make the most of your days instead of scrambling through them. You begin to manage your time proactively instead of reactively. With clear goals, your calendar becomes a strategic tool, not a source of stress. Furthermore, clarity helps you measure your progress. It's hard to know if you're using your time effectively if you don't know what you're trying to achieve. But when your goals are clear, you can track how your time is contributing to those outcomes. You can evaluate your days, weeks, and months with honesty and precision. Are your actions aligned with your aspirations? If not, you can course correct. Without clarity, it's easy to drift. With clarity, you stay on track even when life gets busy or messy. Lastly, clarity creates confidence. When you know what you're aiming for, you stop second-guessing yourself. You don't waste time wondering what to do next or if you're on the right path. You act with intention. This confidence isn't just practical, it's powerful. It builds momentum, reinforces discipline, and helps you maintain consistency over the long term. And all of it begins with a clear understanding of what you truly want from your time and your life. One of the most humbling and empowering truths in life is that every person, regardless of status, success, background, or circumstances, has exactly 24 hours in a day. No one gets extra, no one is shortchanged. From CEOs and world leaders to students and freelancers, everyone begins each day with the same amount of time. This truth eliminates excuses. It's not about having more time, it's about how you use the time you already have. And that difference in usage is what creates drastically different results in people's lives. Many people fall into the trap of believing they're too busy to pursue their goals or make time for what matters. But busy doesn't always mean productive. Often it means time is being spent reactively rather than intentionally. Two people can spend 8 hours working. One walks away with meaningful progress, the other with exhaustion and little to show for it. It's not the amount of time that makes the difference. It's the quality of choices made within that time. Those who seem to achieve more in the same 24 hours are not superhuman. They're strategic. They plan. They prioritize. They learn to say no. They delegate. They don't let the day control them. They control the day, and that kind of discipline is a skill, not a talent. It's something anyone can develop with consistency and awareness. Once you realize that your time holds the same potential as that of the most successful people on the planet, your mindset begins to shift. Time equality also means we are equally responsible. The hours you're given each day are a blank canvas. How you paint them determines the masterpiece of your life. If you waste those hours on distractions, drama, or indecision, you're robbing your future self. On the other hand, if you use them to learn, grow, connect, and take purposeful action, you're investing in a life of fulfillment. Every 24-hour cycle is a new chance to align your time with your values and vision. A common misconception is that people with more resources or opportunities have more time, but even the wealthiest or most influential individuals still operate within a 24. What they do differently is that they buy back time by outsourcing, automating, and removing low-priority tasks. That's not about having more hours. It's about maximizing the value of each hour. You don't need a team to do this. You just need clarity about what matters most. Understanding that time is the great equalizer also strips away the illusion of control we think others have. We often compare ourselves to others, believing they've found some secret to productivity that's out of reach. But in truth, they're just more deliberate about what they allow into their schedule. They've built habits that align their time with their goals, and perhaps most importantly, they respect their time enough to protect it. That level of respect is something anyone can develop, regardless of current circumstances. Another key to optimizing your 24 hours is aligning your time with your energy rhythms. Everyone has periods in the day when they feel most alert, focused, or creative. High performers understand this and schedule their most important work during those peak periods. They don't waste high-energy hours on low-value tasks. They know that when you use your time is just as important as how you use it. Becoming aware of your own natural rhythms can completely change your daily productivity. Finally, the realization that everyone shares the same time allocation forces us to reflect on ownership. Blaming lack of time becomes invalid when we acknowledge that it's not the clock's fault, it's our choices. When you embrace the truth that you have the same hours in your day as the people you admire, it challenges you to rise, to take responsibility, and to make every moment count. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most, and doing it with intention. Let me know if you'd like to move on to the next point or use this for a particular project or audience. Time management is often misunderstood as a dry mechanical skill, just a matter of calendars, to-do lists, and alarms. But in reality, time management is life management. The way you organize, use, and protect your time reflects how you're choosing to live your life. Every moment you spend is a decision about what you value, what you prioritize, and where you're heading. When you manage your time well, you're not just staying organized, you're actively designing the life you want to live. When people say they don't have time for something, they're really saying it's not a priority. That doesn't mean they're lazy or careless. It means that their time is currently being claimed by other things, consciously or unconsciously. If your time is disorganized, your life will feel chaotic. If your time is focused and purpose-driven, your life will feel intentional and fulfilling. The condition of your schedule mirrors the condition of your life. You can't separate the two. Managing your time well means aligning your daily actions with your long-term goal. It means taking control over the small decisions that silently shape your destiny, what you say yes to, what you delay, what you eliminate. People who master time don't just manage their days, they design them. They set goals, they break them into actionable steps, and they place those steps into their schedule like building blocks. In doing so, they build a life of direction rather than one dictated by chance. Life is made up of moments, and time management is the art of deciding which moments deserve your energy. When you don't manage your time, you allow others to do it for you. You become reactive rather than proactive. You bounce from task to task, answering emails, attending meetings, running errands, all without ever stepping back to ask, is this how I want to spend my life? Time management gives you back your power. It gives you the space to ask deeper questions and make intentional choices. There is also a deep emotional connection between time management and well-being. People who feel out of control with their time often experience more stress, anxiety, and even guilt. They carry the weight of unfinished tasks, missed opportunities, and constant busyness. On the flip side, when you take ownership of your time, you feel more grounded. You experience a sense of peace and progress. You start to feel like you're steering your own ship rather than being swept away by the current. Another important aspect of life management through time is the ability to set boundaries. Time is finite, and you simply can't say yes to everything. If you don't manage your time with clear boundaries, your life will be filled with obligations that don't serve. Learning to say no, gracefully and firmly, is not just a time management skill. It's a life management principle. It's how you protect your time for the things that truly matter: your family, your health, your growth, and your purpose. Good time management also honors the balance between productivity and rest. Managing your life well doesn't mean filling every hour with work. It means recognizing the rhythms of energy, the need for recovery, and the importance of joy. Life isn't a to-do list, it's an experience. When you manage your time well, you carve out space not just for achievement, but for presence. You give yourself permission to live fully in each moment, whether you're working, resting, or simply being. Perhaps most importantly, when you view time management as life management, you stop waiting for someday. You stop postponing your goals, your happiness, your dreams. You realize that life isn't something you schedule for later, it's something you're living now, minute by minute. With every choice you make about how to use your time, you're shaping your reality, and the more consciously you manage your time, the more intentionally you live your life.